All right, welcome into a holiday edition of this Jordy Culotta show, driven and powered as always by Go Chevrolet. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button if you don't mind as we start off here on this sad holiday. If you were in the Dome last night, all three of us were. Lloyd is here, Stewie is here. I got out of there last night. Whoa. A little high over there.
Same.
Right? As we said, hit that subscribe button. Lots to get to here on this holiday edition. Hopefully everybody was still partying through the night as they were soaking their sorrows in LSU's 24-23 loss to Florida State. And there's so many entry points to get into this game and talk about it, right? So let's just start from the top. Let's start from the jump. And I thought early on, offensively, LSU, it was very evident early on that their offensive line was going to be in trouble. If you were watching that first half, I mean, the first play of the game, that defensive end for Florida State came off and popped Will Campbell in the mouth and put him on roller skates into Jaden Daniels, kind of into his area, right? I mean, it was very clear early on that this was going to be a physical football game up front, and LSU's offensive line for 4 quarters of evaluation is very much behind on where where I thought they were going to be, really. I mean, look, we've talked about the individuals that were there, and they made a move early on where they I don't know if Bradford left the game because of injury, but they moved him out of there, and Tremont Shorts got into the game. But no matter the rotation or they couldn't find the element to keep really protection up all night. And now I will say the first half play calling did not do the offense any favors. They did not call the game as far as the personnel was valued. I mean, to put Jaden Daniels in 5-step drops and run these long routes with an offensive line that right at that point was not holding up was just, it was maddening to see, right? Because when you see Jaden Daniels and his ability to be mobile and keep the pocket alive, and even some RPOs where he'd come out the gut and find a slant real quick or find a intermediate route, that felt like that was kind of working, and that was there. And then, to move the game forward and look at them offensively, they look so much more comfortable in tempo. Like, I know that the 99-yard drive, we'll talk about that one at the end of the game, and they were moving in a no-huddle against a prevent defense, and they were kind of hitting these underneath stuff. But the team just looked much more comfortable in the way that they were kind of getting in and out of each play. So I thought offensively, first and foremost, they did not play to the strength of the team. They did not help themselves out by the play calling or the setup of what they were trying to do. It was very curious early on of, what are they trying to do? I thought Keyshawn's body language was piss poor. I thought his attitude needs to improve. But he's got to make those plays that hit him in the hands, and I think he'd be the first one to tell you that. But you got to work him into the game. You got to get him going. These little, just catch the snap, throw it out to Malik Neighbors, Jack Best stuff. I love them. But do that for 7. Get him going early in the game. In the first 15 scripted plays, he should have 4-6 touches somewhere in there. Run him on a jet sweep. Just throw it to him just snap it and throw it to him. Let him make a play. Take a shot to him downfield, which they did, and he's got to make that play. Keyshawn makes that play 9 out of 10 times. He drops the ball there in the corner of the end zone, and then the second half drop is just very inexplicable to me. I mean, that was body language, attitude, effort, all that stuff. I mean, he's there, the ball's there, it hits him, and he's just got to make that play. He's got to be better as far as his input to the team. A lot of that stuff. I mean, there were former players on social media that were recognizing, come on, man, wide receiver 1 for LSU's got to pick up his energy, his body language. Was it Lamar Lewis, former linebacker last night, that said, LSU's best wide receiver's body language is garbage. And, look, it's true. And if you're going to be that player, you're going to wear that number, that school, at that position, you got to take as much of this stuff that comes with the good. And I think he knows that. I would think that he knows that. But he had his opportunities last night. I imagine he makes those plays down the line. But you got to get him the ball, right? Like, you got to work him into the offense and get him going. I just thought that from an offensive standpoint, very early on, they did not do themselves any favors of just trying to put themselves in good positions to succeed. If you looked on the other side, Travis Rogers, I thought, had the field cut in half for him a lot of the night, where he was just looking at 1-2 progression. He was able to get outside the pocket, and he was making plays when he had to. Look, let's start off by saying, I believe this. After watching last night, that was 2 battles of bad. That was 2 bad football teams really kind of going at each other. I mean, Florida State, the fact that LSU had a chance to win that game at the end should be just sick. I mean, that was a Les Miles type play call on the 1-yard line where you run toss dive, ball hits the carpet. You don't deserve to get that one. But then LSU gets the ball, goes 99 yards, scores with a second left, and I thought in the moment he should go for 2. I thought, because you've got no business winning this game, and you might as well just steal one early and let the football gods pay you back later on in the season. Remember, the season of the Bluegrass Miracle, LSU versus Kentucky, the next week they got beat, I think, 33-0 by Alabama, and it wasn't that close. At some point, the football gods are going to get you. You steal one here, they're going to get you down the line. I thought LSU had a good opportunity to steal one last night in a game that they had no business being in, or at least on the last play of a game having a chance to win it. They did. They went with their special teams unit. Mm-hmm. They failed again last night. I mean, the special teams fiascos last night was comedic.
From both teams, kind of, too.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost laughable. You know, I mean, I know not to the coaches and players, but I mean, if you're watching, if you're not laughing, you're pulling your hair out thinking, what the hell am I watching? Oh. I mean, a blocked field goal, a blocked extra point, 2 muff punts, a personal foul call on a kickoff team that cost you.
Guy.
You know what I mean? Jay Bramblett shanks a punt at the most inopportune time. Look, that first one he hit was the special teams highlight of maybe the year. We might look back 13 games later and say that first punt Bramblett kicked back in the dome was the best thing that happened to the special teams, because look, man, those types of mistakes they made last night was very elementary. If you looked at that play at the end of the game on how that thing got blocked, Mason Taylor goes for the outside guy. I mean, you learn in 8th grade, 9th grade, don't ever block the outside guy on field goal. Just shove him, but make sure you pin down. I mean, look at their legs. Their legs are all interlocked. The reason why their legs are interlocked is because you don't let any inside penetration in field goal, extra point, special teams. Never, ever. And for whatever reason, they got a true freshman on the outside who was given a lot of responsibility last night, and I thought was one of the bright spots in Mason Taylor, the tight end out of South Florida. That play at the end of the game was very heady. I mean, I thought that he was going to try to poke it up in there, get tackled, and the game was going to end on the 1-yard line, but he kind of saw he couldn't make the play and tried to dive out of bounds. He got the first down, knee inbounds. You got one play to win it, you score. Like I said, I thought that they were going to go for 2 just because of there was no way that they were feeling confident about their special teams, inside after what they had witnessed for, nearly 4 quarters of football action. They throw Ramos back out there, snap, good snap, good hold, kick, never has a chance. Never has a chance. I mean, that ball never got 3 feet off the ground. So, I mean, they got a lot of special teams questions to answer today. I was as shocked as everybody by watching Malik Neighbors have that moment. But, look, we've seen this in that type of role and that type of responsibility, that there are certain struggles. I still remember Patrick Peterson fumbling a big one in the swamp when he was back there. Odell Beckham fumbled a huge one in Athens. I mean, there are moments where you have to overcome these types of situations. And last night, Malik Neighbors, look, this will be lost in all of it. But LSU didn't give up a point off of those 2 turnovers. For whatever reason, Florida State went for it on 4th down. Oh. Good God. Going into half, ball gets knocked down. LSU's able to stay alive, just kind of run the clock out before halftime. And then at the end of the game, like we said, I mean, it was like Les Miles took the headset. They run toss dive to the tailback. Ball gets on the carpet, and then LSU goes 99 yards, both after Malik Neighbors fumbled punt. So, in the grand scheme of it, as like the football game is concerned, you were able to dodge points, but that stuff can't happen, man. The mistakes that the special teams was making last night. I mean, I heard reports that, Neighbors was dropping a couple in Tiger Stadium a couple of weeks back in scrimmages. I mean, if they're getting that evaluation, then how surprising really is last night? So, they got a lot to improve in special teams before week 2 to get right. But I don't know how secure they will really ever be with that unit after just seeing some of the mishaps last night. It was very elementary stuff, man. I mean, it's like some 101 type stuff that they were missing on. And then, from the defensive standpoint, look, that's worst case scenario with Mason Smith. I can't think of a worse situation other than losing Mason Smith and B.J. Ojulari in back-to-back plays where it looked like that had happened last night early. What was that? Was that the second drive?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Second drive. Well, that might have been Florida State's first drive.
Second defensive drive of the year. And Mason Smith in a non-contact celebrating a tackle for loss, jumps up, comes down on his knee, and looks like his ACL explodes right there on the Caesars Superdome carpet. I mean, just, you could look at I looked directly at Jamar Cain. His shoulders went to the ground, and then once Mason Smith is walking off the field, he looks at Jamar Cain about 10 yards away from him, and he's telling him, I'm done. I'm done. He's shaking his head. He's screaming. And you can see the trainers like patting him on the chest like, big fella, like, calm down, man. Like, it's just a bad, bad moment for the individual, for Mason Smith, and for the team. I mean, that was
so unfortunate.
They lost potentially their best player.
Ali Gay went out too
on the second drive of the game. And then Ali Gay gets chunked at the end for a targeting call. But what happened was textbook targeting.
The targeting of all targets.
I mean, he got his money's worth.
That's the rule, coach.
Do it.
That may be the video example they use.
Cracked his ass
in the targeting discussion. But I mean, even it seemed like with Mason Smith, and I know that there's a small sample size of that LSU will have to evaluate, and his MRI will come out this morning, and it just didn't look good. You saw him come out in the second half. He was crutching around out there, and he was still bumming, man. And golly, you hate that for him. I mean, really, just such a celebrating. I mean, I went back and watched the video last night. It is just gut-wrenching to see how that happened. I mean, no contact, running down the line, just jumps up to celebrate, comes down, and you can see his knee give, and he just rolls on the carpet. And as he's walking off the Superdome surface, he knows. I mean, you know, man, it sucks for LSU's defense. And what has happened instantly is that LSU went from being deep to being thin on a very intense unit, and I thought last night, all in all, underperformed, or may not be, the standard early on in the season that we thought. Now, look, I will say, losing your best player on the line of scrimmage, or one of them, BJ played really good last night, but Mason Smith, I think for all intents and purposes, kind of the way that you can play, because he's just kind of the anchor of clogging stuff up and making plays in the middle. They couldn't get off the field on third down. I mean, that was something that just plagued LSU last night. In fact, check these numbers out. Third down conversion percentage, as we know, is one of the most important stats in college football. And last night, Florida State, on third downs, converted 11 of 17 attempts, including 5 of 8 in the second half. Look, their quarterback, Travis, it was a huge reason for that. He kept plays alive. He made things happen when he had to. But he was 8 of 12 for 92 yards and a score on third downs last night. All 8 of his completions on third downs were first down pickups. It's going to be tough to win football games when you're giving up stuff like that. You know, when you got a defense that I thought going into it was really going to control the line of scrimmage. And let's be honest, Florida State's offensive line played good last night, but none of those guys are going to be all ACC. None of them. I mean, I was watching just kind of, player by player, just kind of going down on drives, thinking to myself, who is having a day here? Who's really kind of being able to control these guys? And, I mean, you go down the line of scrimmage, and none of these guys are impressive by any means. And when you look across the line of scrimmage and see Jaquelin Roy being shoved off the ball a couple of yards down the field, nobody getting a pass rush, outside of some creative blitzes, I thought that looked pretty, looked pretty
X's and O's.
Yeah, I mean, it looked eccentric. Other than that, I mean, not being able to guard the underneath stuff and not being able to take away the crossing stuff on big third downs, look, man, that in this league, in the SEC, that will get you beat, just blown out. If you can't get a pass rush and you can't stop that stuff. I was very, for as much as the offense I thought was frustrating and, couldn't at times figure it out, I thought the more disappointing aspect of last night was the defense's inability to make a big play. They couldn't tackle. They couldn't get off the field on third down. They couldn't turn the ball over. They did things that you thought they would succeed at, that they just ultimately, they for whatever reason, they couldn't make plays. And that was very alarming, I thought, to see. Now, I mean, was also alarming was to see the amount of players that were not dressed out for the game. So, I mean, maybe when a guy like Sevyn Banks comes back, maybe he can help you. Maybe he can, be a guy that can turn into a playmaker for you. I'm not sure, but I just thought that the defense last night, and their inability to get off the field.
Make the one play you have to make.
Like, you got to get off the field, man. You got to give the ball back to your offense and get a chance, and they just couldn't come up with that play. It's game one. Look, I know that, and I know that teams, whether it's good or bad, are going to change, right? Like, no team stays the same. Teams are going to evolve, whether they do that in a way that is, not good for them or, ways that they can improve. It's going to happen. And LSU has a ton of room to improve after week one. And, there's not a lot of room for it as far as, being able to take your time. Next week versus Southern, you get an opportunity to look at some things that, you can possibly move and shake up into the future. But, Mississippi State 2 weeks from now is no place to hide. You can't hide any of these weaknesses that last night just seemed, I was very surprised to see.
That's textbook how you lose a game.
Oh man, it was
like
it felt a little like less. Yeah, it was very frustrating to see. Like, you can't get going. That you're not helping yourself out. I thought that the way that Florida State was able to move Travis kind of into a comfort zone last night by just cutting the field in half. Like everybody says, Jaden Daniels can't get past the first read. He just tucks it. Well, yeah, that is the scouting report on him. and like people that you would talk to around Arizona State, or if you watched him play, that's where he feels most comfortable. But last night, I mean, you can't ask that guy to run a 5-step drop, got these long routes where he's got to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, like, put it in the gut, run RPO. He looks so comfortable doing that.
Fast, too.
Right, like moving. When he came out of that RPO and hit Brian Thomas on a quick slant, I mean, you could see, like, there it is. There it is. Yeah, right. Like get into that. Keep running that stuff. You know, and like to see the way that the ball was moving in tempo, like I know you're in a 2-minute, you got prevent defense on the other side, they're giving you everything to the – by the way, I mean, Florida State's giving up the sideline in the middle of the field at the end. Like I said, man, I mean, here in week 1, these two teams may improve and they may go on to, you know, have good seasons, but that was 2 bad football teams. I mean, really, they were trying to find ways, both of them, to lose.
You take the game. No, you take the game. Like, even when the defense gets stops, you can't – I mean, I'm not trying to bag on Malik Neighbors, but when your defense does try to get off the field, you can't automatically just, fumble, give them the ball right back, and it's just that your defense can't play like – you can't win like that because they were on the field for – do you see the time of possession? Like, the defense was on the field for God knows how long, and then when you get off the field, you give the ball right back. It's like, this is 101 of how to lose a football game, and you hate to, like, circle, like, but there's, like, moments in the game where you see it's like, that could be a turning point. That could be a turning point. Like, it was just frustrating to watch because it was so rudimentary. Like, even on the offensive end, it was just 101 stuff. It's like, there's nothing here that feels like, and I guess you would point to the fact that it's all transfers. There's a bunch of players that haven't played together, really, and that's what it looked like. There was no, like, real continuity amongst anybody on the team. Like, it was just like we're all playing our own kind of individual game, and I mean, you can point to Seven for sure. Like, he was just out there going through the motions.
A ball hit him in the chest, like the ball on the third down.
I was so surprised he dropped that first one.
Hit him in the chest,
and then he was out. Like, he was checked out, and he deletes everything off his Instagram. Like, you can play that game if you want, but it's just.
Where's he gonna go?
Where's the buy-in?
Yeah, I mean, like deleting the Instagram stuff.
That's what you're worried about?
Is that really like the threat these days?
I think people were like sending them threats on Instagram.
Oh, probably.
I think that's why they deleted their stuff.
Yeah, typical LSU.
Yeah, Jesus. Him and Malik deleted their stuff. Like all the receivers did. I think they were just getting death threats.
I mean, I got you.
Throw the phone out the bus.
I got you, man.
You know, I don't care about that stuff.
Just go play. You know, I mean, like at some point. Somebody has to, you know, like you gotta catch the ball. You gotta make a tackle. You gotta it's 3rd and what was it? 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, and LSU's DBs are 8 yards off the ball. I mean, it's like I remember watching that stuff remember Bo Pelini's first game with LSU in 2005 with Les Miles. Les Miles had the Britney Spears headphones on at Arizona State, and Bo Pelini's defense. Now he kind of got it righted after the first game because I mean people were going ballistic after watching Saban and Muschamp's defense attack for 4 years, and then see, you know, like Ronnie Prude and Chevish Jackson and these like playmakers like playing 12 yards off the wide receivers at Arizona State, and they're like just like snapping it, just throwing it out. They're just picking up 8-9 yards. I mean, like last night, LSU is in short down and distance and opportunities to get off the field, and their DBs are playing 6 yards past the sticks, not off the wide receiver. They're 6 yards past the first down marker where it's like, damn, I mean, I've seen Little League flag football coaches just look outside, look at their quarterback and just say, hey, just snap it and throw it to him. I mean, that had to be what offensive coordinator, what Mike Norvell, what Florida State, what Rodgers and what they were like, shit, just throw it outside, let him pick up 6 yards and a first down and keep moving the chains. I mean, it was like it was maddening. It was so frustrating in the sense of like, fellas, look at your personnel, embrace who you have, and
let them play.
Let them roll. You know, like, don't ask Jaden Daniels to take a 5-step drop and go through 3 or 4 reads. He ain't good at that. He had 114 yards rushing last night. He's the best running back they have. Like, that's after game 1. My evaluation of the running game is that it's Jaden Daniels. That's who they trust the most. And everybody else they're just trying to give away carries. Like, who wants it? Here's 12 carries for you, Josh Williams, Noah Kane, Armani Goodwin. Y'all figure it out. And I hope when John Emery gets back that he can be one guy that can be another threat in the running game. But your best running back right now is your quarterback. And in the SEC West, that ain't going to work. That's not going to work.
He'll make it all year.
Not make it all year. He's not going to make it out of September. I mean, you play 2 SEC Western Division opponents in the month of September, Mississippi State in 2 weeks, Auburn in 3 weeks. If your quarterback is your main threat and he's running around like that, Coach, he's running in the middle of the field. Like, if your quarterback's going to be the runner, then call some quarterback sweeps. Get him outside where he can step out of bounds, or teach him how to slide, or teach him how to protect himself, because if that's your best running threat, he's going to get killed. I mean, I don't mean that I mean on the football field. He's going to get
popped.
He's going to take too much. He's not Cam Newton. He's not Dak Prescott. He's not built like that. I mean, you're going to set him up to just get destroyed out there. The league's too physical. The league's got too many athletes from a defensive standpoint. If he's going to be a running threat, which he is, Jaden Daniels, to me, is the best running quarterback that I've seen at LSU since, Jordan Jefferson, I guess? Parallel, he wasn't really a runner.
No, but he was.
I mean, you would call it for him,
right,
you know what I mean? But Jefferson was like a run-first
LSU's
quarterback.
Never really had somebody like that.
Never. But I mean, I don't know how you run that game plan last night and you thought that it would be successful.
What was
like
the
that
game plan?
That game plan, or at least early on, the offensive play calling, when you're taking 3 5-step drops and you're going through reads, that's what's built for Miles Brennan. Really and truly. That's what you would ask Miles Brennan to stay in the pocket, take a 5-step drop, look down the field. If he's not open, then go to the next guy. If he's not open, go to the next guy. Jaden Daniels doesn't have the patience at the quarterback position to play like that. As soon as he sees somebody covered or not that he can make a play down the field, he's running. He's running. And, he was very effective doing that. So call these run-pass options. Split the field in half. I was very impressed with the way Florida State got Rodgers going last night. I mean, again, none of these guys, I hate to say this out loud, but it was just very mediocre football. There was not a lot of explosive plays. They're running flea flickers in the first half to score. It was very 3A high school football.
But at least Florida State recognized, all right, nothing's really, we got to take a shot here. We got to do something to create some momentum. LSU just kept, same thing. Let's see if we can pop one. And it just, the running game outside of Jaden Daniels was just to give him a break.
Yeah.
It was just here, take a carry.
Absolutely.
Because he's gassed, tanked. And it's if you're going to do that kind of stuff and the running game's not really working, do exactly what you said earlier. Get the ball out your hands quick. Get it to other players. Have the screen game be an extension of the run game. Quick passes, quick hitters. Get us moving. And it just was 3 and out. That's fine. It just never really, there was no, kick them in the ass. Let's get something going here. And it was just sad day. Bad day.
Caleb, Jordy, why are you acting like Daniels had time? That's what I'm explaining to you. He didn't have time. Run the RPO and get the ball out of his hand. Let him read where it's coming from. If he's going to keep it, keep it. If he's going to throw it, get it out for real early. He's only got 1 read. Don't put him back there for 3 reads or asking him to progress through routes. That's not – first off, LSU's offensive line can't do that. It doesn't matter. I'm not putting anything on Jaden Daniels as far as the outcome of that game. Could he have played better in the first half? Yeah. Did the play calling help him out? No.
Hell no.
In the second half, the play calling helped him out. He looked pretty damn good. He threw the ball around. Guys are making plays, couple of touchdown scoring drives. If that's his mobility, that's the guy you have to play if that's his mobility and that's your offensive line. if that's your offensive line and that guy can move like that, well, you better start calling plays to keep him protected and healthy. But you got to use his skill set against this offense, because that offensive line, I mean, Cam Wire was on roller skates. I mean, that is going to be a tough film session for the offensive line today. And I'm not calling out, I hate getting into the business of calling out individual players and names, but I mean, it's when it's clear and evident, when you can just go back and you watch the game, you see it, right? I mean, people were texting last night, tweeting me like, Garrett Dellinger's, he's not a center. Yeah, I know. He's not a center. His whole life he had tackle and guard. Last year he played, like Will Clapp's position with the Saints. He was like an extra tight end out there, and he was playing with a torn labrum. Now he's playing center for the first time in his life. If you didn't think at some point that was going to kick LSU in the nuts and don't think that it won't again, then you're crazy. Because, I mean, this is the first time the guy's ever done this.
And you could tell it was evident. There was probably 5 or 6 snaps that were like.
Not only that, like
left,
to me,
right.
it looks like
he was going up and catching.
It looks like to me, people are anticipating the snap, and the snap's not coming. Like you can almost see Jay Daniels like clap for it and kind of like shrug at it. Like the tackles are kind of like leaning, the wide receivers are kind of like leaning. You know what I mean? Like the snap's not on count yet. It's not on a rhythm yet. Like you get to a point where you get used to the cadence, whatever it may be. Sad, blue 80, hut, or whatever. Sad, blue 80, clap, 1 second, click, snap it. Whatever it may be. You know what I mean? Like there's all types of ways to snap the football. For the first time in my life, I've ever seen Jordan's little team over here at Our Lady of Mercy. The center calls the cadence. I've never seen that before in my life.
I've seen that before.
I've never seen it. But, I mean, there's so many different ways to get the ball from the center to the quarterback, and LSU still looks like they're trying to figure that part of the game out, and it would make sense because you got new guys doing new stuff. And even though they've been pounding it for a month and a half, you still need more reps when you line up over a team like Florida State that's going to punch you in the mouth like they did on the line of scrimmage. That was the most surprising part for me. I was wrong. I thought LSU's defensive line was going to control that game. I thought LSU's up front, defensive front was going to make it hard on Florida State all night long to be able to move the ball, get drives established and control clock. They proved me wrong, both sides. Credit to Florida State's offensive line for holding up, and I don't know where LSU's defensive line was. I do know that they lost, probably their best player in Mason Smith on the second drive of the game. And that had to be, just kind of a morale buster for you early on. They were able to bounce back and make plays, but, watching Allie Gay get thrown out of the game and Mason Smith probably lost for the season had to have an effect on the guys on the field. But I thought that they would be better. I did. I thought that they would be they got pushed around a little. Yeah, they were driven off the ball last night. I don't know. There's some things that obviously they can improve on. I think like the special team stuff. I mean, like we said. I mean, you got to catch the punt. You
got to make the extra point.
You got to block inside. I mean, like they made the personnel change after the first missed field goal, and they make the same mistake after changing the personnel on the missed extra point, on the blocked extra point. I mean, give up interior penetration on a blocked field goal. Too many athletes. Man, the guys are just jumping over people and just going. It's like blocking a basketball shot against a kindergartner for those guys. I mean, if you let them get 3-4 feet within the kicking circle, it's that thing. Both of those kicks never had a chance.
Not even
like
close.
Never had a chance. It might as well have been me, Stewie, and Lloyd out there kicking, snapping, and holding. I mean, that looked very elementary. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell happened here?
That's install stuff. It's day one stuff.
And, from where LSU is coming from, see, like, that's the part where, man, you look at, like, one part of the game that LSU had right for so long was special teams. And it kind of brings, you kind of, when you don't have it, it is glaring. It's glaring. what it can mean to your team and what it can cost you. And it cost LSU last night.
You would still feel the same way today had LSU won last night, right? Like that.
Yeah.
I feel like the score didn't change. You know, like with this going forward, like sure you steal one essentially.
But we got issues.
But yeah, but there's so many issues that are glaring that I don't know if you can.
Oh, no doubt.
What would you what would you take away from that if you won? You'd be like, well, we got Mississippi State in 2 weeks. Like some of those problems aren't going to be able to be fixed by then. So win-loss, I know that's what you do for at the end of the day. That's what you look at, but it wouldn't have mattered if LSU won or lost that game and how you feel coming into today. Yeah. There's a lot of things that they got to get right, and it's the rudimentary stuff, day one stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of things that you would hope when you bring in a Brian Kelly that's what you wanted to look good. Like you wanted them to be kind of in sync. You talk about the quarterback snap, like center quarterback exchange. It looked like there was false start on nearly every play.
Yeah.
Because it was like jarring. They're, oh, okay, now we go.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, if you want to take any positive away, Jaden Daniels has absolute ice water in his veins. He just went 99 yards and looked calm, collected, was like moving them down the field, barking out, like telling center line, like right tackle, left tackle, like what to do, and was in it.
Yeah.
Gets them all the way down the field, touchdown. What, especially after you have that delay that took God knows how long. It's like, can we figure out what's happening here?
The 10-minute delay.
Yeah, it's like for the 1 second.
You
It's just like that kind of stuff. It's tough to kind of bounce back from when you're a quarterback that was just in rhythm for 99 yards, 90 yards essentially. And then you're like, all right, hold on, boys, let's huddle up, let's do this thing. We got the play. And you knew what play they wanted to run because they never changed their set. Yeah. Like they lined up 2 times and backed off. It's like they know what play they're going to run. And
how about Jordy Jenkins?
Stud.
I mean, like every time you need it.
Not only that, Brian Thomas.
Oh,
played well. Like that's what I'm saying.
Get
these guys the ball. You know, like I mean, if you don't have protection, there's nobody that's guarding these guys one-on-one.
Nobody.
So either put them in Brian Thomas in that RPO looked so natural.
Easy.
I mean, just so did Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I don't get, like, a lot of the time that we were out there at practice, I was seeing RPO stuff. And then they get to the game, and you're running this 5-step drop and trying to push the ball down the field. It's like, who do you want to be? But it's not a multiple choice. Your personnel is telling you who you are. Embrace that. Your offensive line is shaky. You got a playmaker at quarterback that feels comfortable working out of tempo and working out of RPO. You got playmakers everywhere on the outside. You don't trust a running back. It's obvious. Okay, play to those strengths.
Where was Jack Besh?
1 target, 1 catch.
I mean, it just the ball's got to touch the playmaker's hands. However you make that happen, you have to get there. And the way that this team is going to make it happen the most is by putting Jane Daniels in a shotgun, run tempo, run RPO. Don't overthink it. Don't get into a huddle. Have, 6 to 9 plays that you can run formations out of or run sets out of and get the ball out of his hand quick. Put the ball in Seven's hand. Put the ball in Jordy Jenkins' hand. Put the ball in Brian Thomas's hand. Put the ball in Mason Taylor's hand.
Mason Taylor looked great.
He's a player.
Like that's your tight end.
Mason Taylor missed a block at the end of the game. He's a true freshman.
You see the play he made before?
I mean, like it just yeah, right. I mean, if it's not for Mason Taylor, you got no shot. You got no shot to even make that play or make that kick. He goes for the outside guy when the basic rule of
the bullets are flying.
Special team protection is never let it, never get beat inside. But still, that's a true freshman playing in his first game under the bright lights, and
he hadn't been on special teams playing that position probably ever.
I mean, it's I don't know, man. It's maddening. And look, people are asking about Keyshawn. People are saying, did you see about I did see the Instagram stuff. We talked a little bit about the Instagram stuff. If this is the way of reacting in today's athletic, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, scrub your. But what does this say?
Yeah.
What's the message here? If I'm in Keyshawn's camp, I'm saying, okay. Last night sucked. But your options at this point are very limited.
Slim to none.
Like, you have 0 options right now. The only thing you can do is wake up, go to film today, go get your treatment, make sure you're healthy, go to practice, and get better this week. And you need to be a leader because there are 32 general managers and decision makers that are looking at you right now. Right now, they're staring at you. And they're seeing deleted Instagram. They're seeing a little bit of the body language last night. They're seeing the drops last night and opportunities to make plays. And they're now sitting there and wondering, I wonder what Keyshawn's going to be like here on this money year. Is he about to cash it in? Is he about to, quit? Or is he about to step up and be the player that everybody believes that he is? You play that game one more time and you throw those targets to Keyshawn, I'd put my life on it that he makes those plays and catches those balls. I mean, I was as shocked as anyone to see those balls hit the carpet.
Those balls we watched him make catches we watched him make all camp.
All camp and for the last 2 years. He makes those plays.
And he doesn't have enough skins on the wall to be able to walk away. No. Right? He can't pull a Terrace Marshall, Derek Stingley. He can't. I don't think he has enough tape out there. Like,
no, he does not.
What's good is
he
good.
He does not. I know,
but he hasn't done it.
I know for a fact the decisions. I mean, the conversations that were had with Keyshawn in the offseason, and that was it. You are not Jamar Chase. You are not Derek Stingley Jr. You don't have that feeling of you can miss this season and be a top 5 pick like those two guys are, much less a top 10 pick right now. You can play yourself into both a top 5, top 10 pick. You can be the first wide receiver off the board, but you got to go show it. And last night, if it's a 12-game evaluation, the first evaluation of the first game was a fail. I mean, it's a simple pass-fail deal, right? Like, I mean, you got to go out there, perform. The body language has to be right. You got to be a leader. You got to buy into wearing number 7 at LSU. And that comes with a lot of pressure to it. Comes with a lot of eyeballs, comes with a lot of scrutiny, comes with a lot of expectation to it.
Especially after what he posted, like whatever was like typed up for him to post with the number 7, like it's about accountability, leadership, like all of the things that Keyshawn is being asked to do that he really hasn't ever had to do. You like freshman, sophomore, he showed up and played. And he was like, all right, this is easy. Now, junior year, money year, 7, all eyes on you, and everything that they laid out that they wanted you to do, you did the opposite. You got the worst version of Keyshawn. Like, that's the one you were worried about, right? That's the one where you're like, oh, he's checked out. Like, that was going to be the knock on him if he came in and was like disinterested, and especially you have all the rumors of, Gordon McKernan having to get involved because he hears about maybe he's in the transfer portal. Like, Keyshawn, this is your opportunity to prove everybody wrong about what they think your personality is, and instead you just fell back into old habits. Like, be a guy. Be 7. Be the best player on the team.
Well, he's got that opportunity now, and LSU is in a big situation of how they bounce back and how they get this thing right, because this is one of the scenarios that we discussed of you come out and you fall against Florida State. Well, now there's a ton of pressure on you in a couple of weeks here with Mississippi State in town, right? Because, I mean, you open up this thing 1-2, 3 weeks into the season, then, that road ahead starts to look like a, very steep mountain to climb from LSU standpoint. Lamar Stevens with the super chat. How do you think Jaden Daniels felt out there? He looked like he was having fun. I don't know if there's some sarcasm to that. But let me tell you this. I thought Jaden Daniels, from evaluating standpoint, you can win with Jaden Daniels if you're LSU.
How about the shot of him at the end of the game?
On the missed field goal?
On the missed field goal, he's sitting there smiling.
Well, I think he was probably like, this is
crazy.
Of course. It's nuts.
But, gosh.
Disbelief. And talk about the way he bounced back in the second half. I think they had, 40 yards passing in the first half? Yeah. And obviously he was able to run the ball a good bit, but everything was so out of sync. And it what did we talk about all offseason? Get the ball to your best weapons are a wide receiver, and what's the best way to do that? You have to get these guys schemed up and able to get them open. It just seemed like they were running install stuff, stuff with that no creativity, no real like, all right, this is the best way to get my playmakers the football. It was just insert play A, you know? And it's just, you would hope that they would find a way, especially when the offensive line is like that. And then you see how Jaden Daniels is going. Early on, he was going, one read, I'm leaving. Like, okay, well, let's see if we can get it out quicker. He didn't trust a couple of his reads early on. Obviously, new teammates, like we said, all that. But he settled into the game, and then you're like, all right, LSU can win like this. LSU can win this game, to at least last night, with him playing quarterback. And I don't know how much do you think John Emery even changes that?
I was thinking about that as I was leaving last night in, somebody to help Jaden Daniels or take the pressure off of him. But, when you have an offensive line like LSU did last night, and maybe they can get this thing ready and maybe they can get this thing, prepared for down the line and get it better. I don't know how Bo Jackson makes a difference. You know what I mean? Like, I just – Leonard Fournette, I don't know. I mean, like, you can put whoever you want back there, but if you're going to play call like that where you're just running into it and you're taking 5-step drops, that's what that offense is going to look like it did. I mean, there's got to be some types of – I mean, it was almost like if that's who you are, then you should, like, spread them out and go, like, 5 wide.
Create space.
Yeah, like create space for these playmakers where you can make it the read very easy for the quarterback. I mean, he's only got to look at one person, or you send a man in motion, and that way it's in man or zone. I mean, like you can simplify this a whole lot more than what it looked like last night. It was very grinding last night. It was very just like almost it wouldn't give. You couldn't find the positive, or
when stuck in the mud.
Yeah, it couldn't get moving, man. Just couldn't get moving. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that share button. Make sure you hit that comment button if you don't mind. Also, if you have not subscribed, easy to just click on that subscribe now in your top left as you see it blinking there for you. If you don't mind, hit that subscription button for us as LSU starts off 0-1. Daniel Cassie Richardson, 2 bad teams. Are you serious? Daniel, did you think they were good?
The game?
I mean, what did you see good from either side, Daniel, that leaves you to believe that these 2 teams can make any run at a college football playoff? I mean, that's what we're talking about as far as good teams, right? Teams that can contend for championships. I mean, did you see Georgia play this weekend? Did you see Alabama play this weekend? Did you see Ohio State play this weekend? I mean, did you see those types of teams play? That's the type of program that I think we're all talking and urging and wanting to be covering, right? I mean, by the definition of that, LSU and Florida State, I mean, they'll be battling, it looks like, for the Citrus Bowl. Maybe.
Independence Bowl.
It just doesn't look like a team or any, teams that will battle for any type of relevant title. And, I mean, if they're not doing that, then what the hell are we talking about? I mean, what
obviously room for improvement. What's the first kind of things you would think that they can? It's not lost.
Yeah,
right?
no, it's not lost. It's not lost.
But I'm wondering, what are the first couple of things that, like, all right, back to the drawing board. Where do you see LSU maybe?
I think the first thing you can improve is special teams.
No doubt.
I mean, like,
that's easy. That's an easy fix, right? All other stuff seems very easy to fix.
That's low-hanging fruit of, like, okay, look, from weeks 1 and 2, get yourself better. Improve the blocking on special teams. If Malik Neighbors is the guy, catch 800 to 1,000 punts this week. Do it every single day. That way, when you get to Saturday night, that, the stage isn't too big. It felt like that it was, the lights were a little too bright. Maybe lost them in the lights. I don't know. But those looked like 2 very basic pregame warm-up type punts that you could, I mean, they both hit him in the gut. Those are kind of hard to drop. So if Malik Neighbors is the guy as the punt returner, make sure the ball never hits the carpet again. If he's not the guy, find his replacement. Like I said, improve on the blocking, on the field goals, and the extra points, and that should show like clear and evident improvement immediately. The offensive line stuff, I'm not sure how much you can improve that without just playing, man. You know what I mean? Like, you got to just get out there. You got to rep this thing. And you got to find the best 5 that can protect. And then you have to fit your offensive game plan around what your personnel says who you are. You know? I mean, like, to me, it's the biggest compliment to a coach that can fit any personnel. That's what you have to do. Not, we're running my system. What if your system doesn't work on these guys? You know, I mean, if you want to be able to go out and recruit and bring in guys to run your system, okay, but you may not have that right now. So you have to adapt your coaching style to the personnel, not asking the personnel to adapt their physical attribute that they can't control. You know what I mean? They are who they are. You know, Jaden Daniels isn't a 5-step quarterback that, drops back and goes through 3 or 4 progressions. It's not him. So play to the strength of the guy that you have. And the personnel that you have right now as your offensive line is
a work in progress.
No good after one game. They've got to become massively better. And whether that's scheme, technique, or it's personnel, that's what they have to figure out. I don't know how much they can improve that, like immediately. You may just see kind of a progression improvement, hopefully, throughout the season. Because I think that, offensive line, a lot of that's chemistry. A lot of that's just playing together.
And I wouldn't say that any of us are actually – I'm not going to say that we're shocked, right? Like, we knew going into this season that it was probably going to look – I mean, the over-under was 7 wins. And every time we looked, like, Florida State's going to tell you a lot about whether they can get there or not. But I'm not dropping – I'm like, you can't jump off the Brian Kelly bandwagon in this regime.
No way.
Just because this is a 3-year plan.
No way, yeah.
Obviously you would like to win 10 games a year, 8, 9, whatever. But by the time, you've got to give the LSU an opportunity to be able to, let's put this thing together. That's their first game together, obviously, and I don't think you see LSU doing very many more of these openers. They're going to probably try to figure this thing out.
They would have much rather they much rather would have played Southern
first
last week. And then played Florida State after watching last night, because a lot of what you saw last night can be worked out in a game situation.
Right.
Look, was there a lot of advantage for Florida State playing the game last week? The opponent didn't say so, but just going through it, seeing yourself on film, seeing some of the weaknesses that you could either hide or work on is something that looked like benefit Florida State last night. And now LSU has to make those improvements going from FSU to Southern. You'd rather do that going from Southern to Florida State. And I think that Brian Kelly will probably be asked that tomorrow at his press conference of, would you rather in future type scheduling to have a week 0 game before you play one of these, marquee matchup type openers? So, I think that it is definitely something that will be discussed and something that, LSU will look at, especially when you see the outcome of last night. But make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button. As we said, hit that subscription button as well. A lot of third and Chavis text last night on the defense. Felt like watching John Chavis's defense at LSU that just struggled to get off the field on 3rd and long situations. We gave you the numbers from last night in Florida State, and I think this was really the difference in the game. Seminoles converted 11 of 17 third down attempts, including 5 of 8 in the second half. Noles quarterback Travis was on third downs alone, 8 for 12, 92 yards and a score. All 8 of his completions on third downs moved the chains. I mean, it was that is a tough scenario to win, and a tough scenario for a defense to get off the field. When you can't get off the field like that, and you got those big fellows on the field, that defensive line is going to wear down. The guys in coverage couldn't keep those guys in front of them, and it was a bad day for LSU last night. They got to get it improved for sure. But when you look ahead for LSU, there's a lot of points where you can get better. Give us a break. We will come back, read some of your comments. We'll get out of here on a holiday morning a little earlier than we usually do. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. It was awesome down in Florida State. We'll tell you about some of our experiences and get out of here as we leave you on this Monday morning. Remember, like, share, comment, subscribe. We appreciate you being here. Happy holidays. Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance and you need to get over and see our friends over at GoFlow IV? They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com. Southern Eye Center is located at 6859 Jefferson Highway right here in Baton Rouge, has been serving your eyes for over 40 years in the capital region. They offer friendly service in a helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. If you want more information, log online to southerneyecenters.com. That is southerneyecenters.com. Stop in and check out their beautiful office located on Jefferson Highway right here in the capital city. And remember, each time you walk in there and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Centers will take 25% off of their fantastic selection of sunglasses. All you got to do is mention the Jordy Culotta Show. Check them out, southerneyecenters.com, and located at 6859 Jefferson Highway.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Keyshawn, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacy,
Greg Brooks.
Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team.
make a difference.
Bet. Let's get it done.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance and you need to get Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue? decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest, then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online, and stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. All right, welcome back here on this Monday morning, getting some reaction to LSU last night.
LSU in film today.
Wait, what?
That's how LSU is going to be in film.
Shit.
This is a play. Put your head down.
Coach, I thought it was a holiday.
You see right here. Play it again.
Back that one up.
Yeah,
How about the guy from Last Chance U fucking going off on LSU on Twitter last night?
What guy?
The Jason Brown guy.
Oh,
He's like, you fucking slap dicks.
Slap dicks everywhere.
Yeah, goddamn slap dicks, LSU, fake accent, fucking slap dick. Like, he's just going off on Brian Kelly and LSU.
What? The best thing is, I just saw Portnoy's tweet. He goes, so many different Barstool angles tonight at the Superdome. Mincy blocking the stairwell with his video. I saw Doug's almost dying in the upper deck, and then Megan making money's definitely blacked out somewhere. What a night. The vibes were immaculate going into the game.
They were?
Lucy's was an all-timer.
Yeah, Lucy's was great, man. Shout out to Rhett Bourgeois and the crew over at the PGA Tour. The PGA tailgate.
Hell yeah, do it.
The PGA tailgate, it was fantastic in New Orleans yesterday, man. The vibes were great in the city all weekend. The lead-up was fantastic. The game was great. A lot of Seminole fans here this morning talking to a lot of crowd. I get it, man. HOTC, go Noles! Jordy had a lot to say last week about how sorry FSU was and how the D-line was going to dominate the Noles. Trash. Go Noles. You're right, buddy. You're right.
After LSU scored, there was some girls sitting by me from Florida State, and I was just fucking...
Yeah.
Let's fucking go! I was like, fuck that Florida State shit! Fuck that shit! And they were just like...
He had said shit all day.
I hadn't said anything the whole game.
We're back!
My watch is literally telling me, like, your heart rate is getting too high. Like, I was about to have a heart attack in there. And then after that, I was just like, yes! Oh!
Yeah, we're going to miss the extra point.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know why, but did you not think that the LSU was going to miss the extra point?
Yeah, I did.
I kind of thought
weird feeling.
I kind of thought going for two.
I kind of thought they were. I was kind of thinking like, man,
LSU doesn't deserve
He
this.
should have just went for two.
No business winning this game. That's why I was like, just go for two, steal it, and at some point, just pay your dues to the football gods,
Jay
bro.
Daniels run that thing.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Just run a quarterback draw,
the best
man.
athletes on the field. Like, all right, let's hit one play to win it all.
Fuck it.
I would pick LSU. No, let's kick it. We can't kick it. We already did this.
Can't kick it, Brian.
Billiam.
It was
God.
tough last night, man.
Kind of remnants of LA.
A little bit.
I would say that's what I wanted to ask you too. Is what opener did that remind you of the most? Because that's Wisconsin.
UCLA.
I would say Lambeau.
UCLA, Wisconsin. Yeah.
Well, UCLA dominated us a little worse than that.
But
it felt like they could throw it to Keyshawn and score.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was
some
like
good thing.
Keyshawn's gonna get open.
Yeah,
you're
like
gonna out-athlete
you
them.
could kind of do whatever you want. You know what I mean? But you just couldn't get out of your own way. You know, it just.
That was more it.
Are you surprised that, obviously after the first half that Jaden Daniels had, were you surprised no Nussmeier after he said kind of before the game?
Coach, it doesn't matter.
No, I know.
It wouldn't have mattered.
I just didn't know if.
It wasn't the quarterback. It wasn't. You could have put Lamar Jackson back there.
Josh Allen.
I mean,
Peyton Manning.
It didn't matter because they were not calling plays to the strength of the position, and their offensive line is, last night did not play good. I mean, and that's being kind.
Yeah, where's Doug
it's
Flutie?
just being kind.
And drop kick that thing in there.
But it just I don't know how Nussmeier would. I mean, really, if that's who LSU is, Daniels is the guy.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
I understand that.
If that's who LSU is, as far as like their personnel can't block, and that's who they're going to be, then you got to play him. The only downside I would say to if that's how you're going to play him, at some point,
play him like that.
Yeah, but at some point he's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
If that's how you're going to run him, if that's how he's going to run, like if he's running to the middle of the field in the SEC West,
somebody's
if you run in between the hash marks, you are going to get destroyed as a quarterback.
Slid a couple times last night. Made a few slides.
Yeah, well, he better
gotta get down quicker.
Yeah, he
than
better learn how to slide. And if they're going to run him like that, they got to run him outside.
But
Don't start running him out of bounds, man.
That's not like by design. That's him.
No, I think
leaving the pocket and running.
I think that he is. He's definitely feels comfortable doing that.
He looked it.
Yeah, I mean, he looks great in the open field. I mean, like the first play of the game.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was going to house it.
He's just making people miss.
I mean, I thought he was going to house it.
But I only asked that because we talked a lot about where's LSU's strength lies on the offensive end, and it's like get the ball to the playmakers. You saw Jaden Daniels clutch a couple of times for people that were open, so I don't know if he threw for 40 yards in the first half. I know it's a lot of the offensive line stuff, but I just was interested to see if they were going to put him in, not because of Jaden Daniels played poorly, just to see let's see what else we can do here. Yeah. I mean, Brian Kelly said, well, that's the worst half of football we ever could have played, I think. It's like, oh.
Hopefully.
Yeah, he goes, I don't know. It's my first game. Hopefully. Maybe we can be worse.
It's only my third day out here.
I mean.
But that's the stuff that you wanted to see fixed, right?
Again, yeah, absolutely. Again, I mean, in the first game, my biggest takeaway is that
it's cooked.
You're not that good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like both teams. That was a battle of bad. That was two mediocre college football teams. It feels like a middle of the pack ACC team, and it feels like one of the bottom teams in the SEC.
Does it change your overall?
I mean, especially after watching the weekend of SEC football.
I mean, Georgia looks like they could be.
Georgia looks like they're gonna run this thing back. Alabama looks like they're going to be playing against Georgia in both the SEC and the national championship. Those two programs are going to figure it out. Florida had a great opening win weekend. Was it sloppy and some things they want back? Yeah, but it's a W next to a top 10 team. Arkansas did the same to Cincinnati. Texas A&M 31-0. Look, they didn't play anybody, but I'm just saying, you look around the SEC and you look at some of the performances this weekend, and you look at some of the personnel that's in this league. Even Tennessee on Thursday night against Ball State. Did they play anybody? No. But did they go out there and they execute? Yeah. I mean, that's it. That was at least what I thought you would get from LSU was a very
consistent,
pointed,
yes,
very efficient,
buttoned up,
much organized, everybody knowing where they're supposed to be type plan. And, last night had a little bit of less and O sprinkled in it.
Harold Perkins flashed last night, though.
He did flash.
Yeah.
He doesn't play enough.
15 yards
at all.
He doesn't play enough. For as bad as the linebacker play was last night, I would turn around, look at 40, and say, go give me a series, man.
Just go
Especially
play.
by the way that he's running down there on kickoff team.
Catching bodies.
I mean,
flying.
He hit the dude into the returner and didn't even hit the returner. Yeah.
No, he's a stud. And you could tell his body language on the sideline. Like, am I really sitting over here watching?
Can y'all put me
are y'all really going to make me watch this stuff? Put me in the game, man. Y'all need playmakers out there. I'm a playmaker. Like, at this point, I would seriously consider Harold Perkins being a running back.
Same.
I mean, why not? If that's how they trust their running backs, which last night they got little to no efficiency from the running back position.
What do you think the yards per carry were just on running backs if you take Jaden Daniels out of it?
Like 3, maybe
No,
2, 1.
No, I'd say it's under. It's
1.5.
It's under 2.5.
Nobody
yards a carry.
even came close to shaking one.
They didn't move anybody. They don't move anybody up front. The penetration on the offensive and defensive line. I mean, Florida State shoving them 3-4 yards in the backfield. I mean, the first play of the game. And look, man, I love Will Campbell. He's going to be great. but the welcome to college moment for Will Campbell might have come on his first college snap. Go back to it. I mean, that guy puts him in Jaden Daniels. I mean, he puts him in his lap. So,
welcome.
Yeah, man, they got a lot of ground to cover in between weeks 1 and 2.
Noah Kane, 7 carries for 23 yards, 3 yards a pop. Armani Goodwin, 5 carries for 14, 2.8 a pop. Josh, 1 carry, 2 yards.
Yeah. They didn't look good in protection either.
Jaden Daniels, 16 for 114, 7 yards a touch. 26 of 35, 209 yards. The average is you would hope to see a little bit farther down the field because that's what he does well also. He can, take shots, and they dialed up 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't throw it for 6 yards. You want your yards per attempt to be a little higher than that.
And your best player's got to catch the ball. I mean.
Does this change where do you see? We had obviously LSU over 7 wins. Where do you think that is now?
Oh man, hang on
It'd be hard to get to that 7.
Insurance open on that?
Yeah, can I cash that ticket out?
Insurance open on that bet?
I was just playing,
dude. After seeing the SEC play this weekend, I don't know how you could really logically look at LSU's schedule and squeeze 7 wins out of it.
And that's where you get back to it looks like UCLA because last year we were like, well, maybe UCLA's good. Like we know Florida State's not very good.
No.
So then you see Florida beat a good Utah team.
Yeah.
Arkansas beats
Tennessee.
a good Cincy team.
Tennessee puts up 35 week 1. Easily.
Oh no.
Get us out of here.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of.
It's gonna be a tough year, boys.
Yeah, man. Can't hide.
No, that's the worst part.
That's the thing about it. Like on this schedule,
they gotta keep going out there and playing.
Nowhere to hide.
It'll get better. It'll get better. This was just brutal.
Mississippi State comes in.
Was that the most LSU game ever? That's LSU.com.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Cardiac cats, man.
Just your heart almost exploded.
0-3 in their last 3 openers.
It's just sad.
It's crazy.
And I keep betting them. I've seen them all too. Watched all 3 of them.
Also, you UL fans, please stay out of my Twitter mentions. Y'all don't have any feet anything to stand on. Y'all haven't won shit. Y'all go to the New Orleans Bowl every year. So
or no Carriers Bowl.
Take your 11 wins and go to the New Orleans Bowl, win again, and have fun. But y'all aren't the best team in Louisiana. Keep that shit.
You lost your guy, Billy.
Yeah, your guy's gone.
Electric for him.
Yeah, great for the guy.
Billy Nate?
Tough.
Oh, bro, that was a great opening.
And you got like basically the Heisman favorite right now.
I put a future on Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson is that guy,
dude.
bro. He's that dude. But Nate went over there and he's calling plays that are strong to Richardson, they're fitting his personnel. All right, hit that like button, share button, comment button. Have a great holiday. We appreciate you being here. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. As we will also be at Brian Kelly's press conference tomorrow at noon to hear reaction from last night and get you set up for Southern coming in this weekend. Thank you all for being here on this Monday morning. We are a couple of subscriptions away from 12,000 subscribers, so if you have not subscribed, make sure and hit us on a subscription if you don't mind. Hit that bell and you'll be kept up with all of what's coming out of here of the Jordy Culotta Show. Mic'd up, rolling?
Yeah.
5 to 7?
No, 6 to 8.
6 to 8? 6 to 8?
Guy's dead.
I guess we'll do the show. No, it'll be fun. Jay Mitch and Mikey were out there, and I'm excited to see what Jared Mitchell thinks of it as a former player. I
I sat right next to him. It was cool to see.
Because I sat next to him for that scrimmage, and he put in some things that's like, damn, you played.
Yeah.
Like, look at this right here, and then it would happen.
Exactly.
Like, wow, damn, that's cool.
We appreciate you being here. Have a good Monday.
Shit.
We will make sure to check in with Mic'd Up coming up this afternoon.
Kill me.
Hit that like and share button.
Fuck you,